Hey, before you watch this thing, hit subscribe, would you? Welcome to Sense of Style. I'm Stuart. 8 sleek, understated scents that embody old money. Old money is quiet, but very powerful. Old money style is clean, high quality, and appears effortless. There are a number of well-known people that incorporate the old money aesthetic into their wardrobe. It's a very popular fashion statement at the moment, especially for young people. But I have to admit, it's a style I absolutely love. It's a style I'm also very familiar with. I did a video on this topic in December. It is now April. These are 8 warm weather old money scents. Fragrance number 1 is Hermes Eau Givrée. And I've said this before, but I think Hermes and Prada are really good at embodying the old money minimalist style. But this fragrance goes well beyond just being a great old money scent. This fragrance does something that is difficult to do very well. And that is be very fresh and be appealing. What normally happens with very fresh fragrances, they tend to be either aquatic and boring or green, and sometimes green fragrances can come across as unappealing. But this has got that frosted water kind of feel, but it's also a beautiful grapefruit. So the scent is really nice. Now, how great is this? Here's my theory. Christine Nagel has been the head perfumer at Hermes for 9 years. She's made 6 men's fragrances in that time. At best, mediocre, except for this one. And sometimes I wonder, would she have a job if this hadn't been so successful? That's how good this is. So it opens with citron and timur. Citron is a bright citrus note, and timur is a spice that has a grapefruit vibe. So it comes across as grapefruit. And then you get the mineral notes that give it like that. I'm assuming that's where the frosted feel comes from, but there's definitely a coolness to it. So you get like this frozen grapefruit vibe that's really pleasant. After wearing this a lot more, though, I've noticed that it's not entirely linear. As it dries down, it transforms more into a woody fragrance. It's still got that clean, frosty feel, but it turns from a citrus fragrance and more into a woody one. I've heard a couple people say that this has a gin vibe somewhere in the mid because there's a lot of juniper in here, and that's what they make gin out of. And it's also got a frosty feel, so a cool gin drink in the mid. Now, I haven't noticed that yet, but I find that the more you wear fragrances like this, you pick things up over time. But yeah, that makes sense to me. But yeah, this goes beyond, I think, just old money and turns into something special. Fragrance number 2 is Creed's Milliseme Imperiale, and this fits this topic perfectly because not only is this a high-quality scent, it's a Creed, it's got a casual, effortless vibe with that salty watermelon feel. So it's absolutely perfect for this, and it's not actually a watermelon note. It's a lot of fruity notes and a lot of aquatic notes. So you get aquatic fruit, watermelon. Makes sense to me. That's what it smells like to me and to a lot of people. And then you throw in the saltiness in there. Makes it original and different and very appealing. One thing I like about talking about this scent is I always like to mention, okay, who wears what when it comes to celebrities, well-known people. This one is verified. In 2020, Elon Musk said that this was his signature scent, and that's a hard thing to find. Harrison Ford, however, is rumored to like this. That's just a rumor. Now, the one drawback here is the fact that Milliseme means vintage, just like a wine. Wine vintages, they vary from year to year, depending on the earth, the soil, the weather. Well, unfortunately, because of IFRA regulations, the formula for this varies from year to year, but unfortunately, it varies significantly. So you get major performance issues depending on the batch. I got a really bad year. Mine does not perform well at all, so be careful when you're buying this. Fragrance number 3 is Prada L'Homme. Now, when it comes to perfumers, they're artists, and they often like to be inspired by an imagery and put that imagery into scent. In the case of YSL YEDP, Dominique Ropion was going after the white t-shirt, black jacket look that Yves Saint Laurent made famous. For this one, Daniela Andrier imagined a crisp, freshly laundered white shirt and tried to recreate that in fragrance form, and I think she nailed it. So this is an iris fragrance, but it's a very clean, crisp iris fragrance. And she got the clean crispness with the use of fresh florals, geranium, neroli, and violet. And then she also threw in some black pepper for good measure. So it's very, very fresh. So that fresh iris feel is very different than the kind of iris you're going to get in Dior. That is a heavier, denser iris. They use ambrette to get that lipsticky feel. This is not lipsticky at all. It's a much lighter iris. It's really pleasant. And then you get that gorgeous amber in the dry down. Crisp, clean white shirt. Fragrance number 4, L'Envol by Cartier. Now, L'Envol means flight or takeoff. And it was inspired by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who was a famous French author. He wrote Le Petit Prince. However, Saint-Exupéry was also a pilot. Great author, horrific pilot. In fact, he crashed 5 times, including the last time where he died. So, yeah, not the greatest. Anyway, it's named after him, or inspired by him. That's where they get the name Flight. And you can see it reflected in the bottle because the base is a lot thicker here. And the juice seems to hover in air. And that's what they were going for. They're going for a hovering effect. And the actual juice itself and the feel of the fragrance also kind of hovers. And it's got a light, airy feel, because it uses tons of violet leaf. So both the bottle and the juice are inspired by the name. Now, it's also inspired by, they tried to go for a honeyed mead feel. And that's a beverage, an alcoholic beverage people used to drink like thousands of years ago. And so, yeah, it's got honey and gaiac wood as a combination. And gaiac wood is a little bit smoky and certainly rich wood. And then you get the honey mixture. So there's definitely that honeyed mead feel, although it is lighter. The perfumer Mathilde Laurent did not want to give it a boozy feel too much, and it really doesn't come off as boozy, but you can definitely get the honeyed mead kind of feel. Now, aside from the violet leaf, there's also a fair bit of musk here and iris. Now, this is a really good iris fragrance if you're starting out, because it is the lightest iris that I have ever encountered. It's there, but I swear to God, the first couple times I wore it, I did not pick it up. But it is there. It's light, and it comes and goes throughout the fragrance, and that's what they're kind of trying to do with the airiness, is the notes will come and go. And it is the nicest bottle in my entire collection. It's the nicest bottle I've ever seen. Fragrance number 5 is Tom Ford's Beau de Jour. This was originally a private line fragrance that they moved to the signature line after a year. So in many ways, I think of this as like a niche/private line fragrance. And what it is a very green, fresh barbershop scent that I think would be really good in warm weather. It's often compared to Zeno by Davidoff. However, there are some differences. This has a ton of lavender, especially off the top, certainly more than Zeno. It is a little bit higher quality, and it is also a little bit better performing. But if you really like lavender, this is the one for you. So there are 2 lavender notes off the top. The normal lavender note, lavandin, and then there's English lavender as well. And so, boy, it's a bomb. Now, it does dry down into more of an herbal scent, and more an overall herbal scent. You get the rosemary, you get the oak moss, you get the mint. But it is definitely greener than something like Drakkar Noir, which I used to wear back in the day. And I remember thinking, I don't think I'm ever going to smell a barbershop scent that I like more. And then when I got this, I was really surprised because it's fresher and greener. And normally I like warmer notes, but this is the best barbershop fragrance I've tried, although I haven't tried fragrances like Rive Gauche, and I would like to, but this is just beautiful. Fragrance number 6 is Eau de Narcisse Bleu by Hermes, and this is a type of Hermes fragrance that is constantly getting overlooked. It's in the unisex line, and so people are familiar with like the common lines like the H24 or Terre Hermes. Yeah, not this one so much, and yet it's unfortunate because the quality of this is just through the roof. It is easily the strongest eau de cologne I've ever worn. However, you do end up with the Hermes weirdness. And that leads to a little bit confusion at times because they just do their own thing. So this came out right in the middle of the blue fragrance craze. It comes in a blue bottle and it's got blue in the name, but it's not a blue fragrance, not even close. It's a very green fragrance. So it's called Eau de Narcisse Bleu. And Narcisse is referring to a narcissus, which is a genus of flower of which daffodil is a member. They come out in the spring usually, and they tend to have a very green, fresh scent. So it's the blue version of the narcissus plant instead of the white one, leading to all this confusion, which I don't think was all that great, but that's Hermes for you. But the quality here is through the roof. Next up, we have Tom Ford's Noir Eau de Toilette. Now, this is actually called Eau de Toilette in the name because the original fragrance, Noir, was an eau de parfum. So it's kind of backwards. Normally, the first fragrance in a line is an eau de toilette. Anyway, this came afterwards. A couple more quirks here. I have Noir Extreme, and this smells nothing like Noir Extreme at all. So quirky line, very nice fragrance though. It is a lot of citrus. So citrus notes and lemon. So you get that lemon note. It really stands out. And then you get oriental notes and spices in the base. And if that sounds to you like Habit Rouge a little bit, you would be correct. It's got a little bit of a Habit Rouge vibe, although it doesn't have the sweetness of Habit Rouge. I find with Habit Rouge, it's almost like a little bit of a bubblegum feel as it dries down. You don't get that here. This one will be more popular with older people, I think, but it's high quality. It's a Tom Ford and definitely accessible and casual at the same time. Finally, we have Celestial Emir by Paris Corner, and this is a clone of Ganymede by Marc-Antoine Barrois. And it's a very good clone. The performance is really good. The presentation is excellent. However, I have to, full disclosure here, I don't like either Ganymede or this. Now, it's not the fault of this fragrance. It's a very high quality. It's just, that's not my thing because it's got a very clean, clinical, fresh, minimalist feel that is probably too minimalist even for me. So this has a ton of mineral notes, but it's also got a lot of other clean notes, including violet leaf, saffron, and suede. So yeah, very clean, almost like I said, too clean. There is a hint of fruitiness. There's mandarin and osmanthus, which is a little bit fruity as well. But the performance, as I said, is phenomenal. And if you like that kind of thing, and certainly if you're watching a video like this, it means you probably do. This really does fit into the old school aesthetic, and the price is right here. Anyway, I must say, I really love the old money aesthetic. I love the casualness of it. I haven't fully embraced it, obviously. I think I wear too many ties. I don't know if that fits entirely. I don't think it's quite effortless enough. But I do love it, and I'm working on it. And I do think, though, these fragrances fit into this category. Thanks for watching.